hi people, it is I, Bagel Liker, back at it again with a video. Since it's January and there are still holidays around the world, I think it will be right to look the recent event that happened at Retrostudio. Sure, I could have made the whole video about the Winter Spotlight event, but it's literally the same thing as the previous 4 major Roblox events that happened this year. But this time it has a winter theme, which doesn't save the event from not intriguing me at all. Also, for people who don't know what is Retrostudio, it's basically a game that emulates older versions of the Roblox engine. And being a game that surrounds old Roblox, it decided to make its own take on a reoccurring event that Roblox did in the past. Giftsplosion. Again, for people who don't know how Giftsplosion works, it's kind of like an advent calendar. Every day, a gift is put on Roblox that you can get through doing a specific task or buying it on the marketplace. But we're not gonna talk about the second option throughout the video since it's pretty useless anyways. And after some period of time has passed, the gifts unbox into a different item. Since, you know, it's quite literally a gift. So without further ado, let's jump into this one.
We is in Wily World.
The first day of the event had chill gift of popular activity. The objective for it was to play 85 games on the front page. Really simple task. I didn't even need to look at the wiki in order to find out on what to do. The item that came in it was snowy lampshade. Neat. The second day had social gift verification. Objective for it was to join the official Retro Dev Roblox group. This is another extremely easy objective. I got the gift the instant the menu loaded up for me because I was in the group already. The item inside of the gift was legit penguin. Another nice item. Day 3 had shared gift of the club. Objective for it was to touch the gift itself after it's dropped from RBC players in-game at a random time. This is when the event starts to sprinkle up the difficulty. Right now it's at mild, but the event will get harder eventually. I spent around 20 minutes on trying to figure out how to get this gift until I joined a place made for that gift specifically and touched it after one of the admins dropped it while flying. I was also pretty lucky to get it earlier since it was the first day for the gift and it wasn't appearing as much as it did on the last day of its availability. But let's move on from the gift and look at what came out of it. It was an RBC business tie and additionally 1 month of RBC. I think the tie is fine, like there's nothing much to it other than just being a tie. However, with 1 month of free RBC, it feels pretty right since both with the tie, it works as a nice combo. But if you already bought the RBC, like me, then it's pretty much useless. Might as well throw it into the fire. Day 4 had musical gift of Jolly Beats. The objective for it was to place a specific song into the studio. This one really annoyed me because despite the fact that I had the same audio listed in the description of the gift inside of my place, it didn't work for me for some random reason that I still don't know. After I ran out of ideas on what to do, I went to the Retro Dev Discord server and asked the people on how to get the gift. One person suggested me to put it in a script that can play audios. Luckily, I already had a game with that type of script, so I proceeded to put that audio into it and finally got the gift after playtesting the game. Feels good wasting an hour on a virtual item. This time, as a reward for collecting the gift, we get a Christmas boombox. I can finally join my favorite Retrostudio Hangout game and play Laced Max by LaserDim. Awesome! Day 5 had nothing. No, really. They delayed the gift until the next day and there was nothing else to do. So, on day 6, the official event game Santa's Workshop came out alongside 2 gifts. I want to focus on the game a little bit and after that, I'll talk about the gifts. Santa's Workshop is the main game in the event. It works as a hub that keeps track of gifts, their information, and hence alongside other activities to do like making toys in the workshop, playing some snowball fight, doing an obby, and seeking for some other badges. Now let's talk about the gifts. I'll start with the heated gift of baked surprises. The objective for it was to obtain 200 cookies inside of the Santa's Workshop game. In the game, you can obtain cookies from making toys and delivering presents in the sleigh. I got cookies for the first way since the other option was broken. I'll talk about it more at the end of the video, but for now, just explain the whole toy making thing. The process of making toys basically consists of getting a bunch of materials and combining them in order to create toys. There's a variety of toys to make from cars to jetpacks, but what's important is how much cookies you'll get after selling them and how long will they take your time on making them. The most convenient pattern for toys stage that I did in order to get to 200 cookies quickly was by making plushies. In order to make them, you'll have to get 5 plushies and stuff them. After doing that, you'll always need to package them and then insert them into the soy in order to get rewarded with cookies. I got 6 cookies every time I sold them. Since one plush gets you 2 cookies, and with having free inventory slots, you can grab 3 flat plushies at a time, speeding up the process. It also took me about a minute every time I did that compared to making a singular jetpack that can give you 7 cookies and takes about 3 to 4 minutes each time you make one. The event team did eventually higher the amount of cookies you get from a singular plushie to 3, but whatever, I already got the gift and I don't want to focus on the workshop thing anymore. Next gift that was released on the same day was Snowstorm Gift of the Endless Blizzard. Objective for it was to insert 10 particle emitters with a certain texture ID into a part. This is another gift that I got for looking into the Discord server and what to do in order to get it, since I couldn't get myself to realize the actual objective. Again. On a positive note, it took me about a minute to get it afterwards and not as much time as I had with the previous gift, so I think that's nice. Now it's time to look at the items that came out of these gifts. They were Gingerbread Teapot and Frostbound. They're good. They might not be the best items ever, but they're good. Day 7 had recurring gift of the Badger. The objective for it was to get each special badge from every game that was listed in the description. This is the longest gift that I've spent my time on getting it, so buckle up because we're gonna dive into this for a brief amount of time. Game 1 was Zombie Survival 2009. The mission was to find one present on each of the 5 maps that the game had. I could have just said this was a perfectly fine task for an event, but what kinda annoyed me was how you needed to stay in the same server when collecting the gifts, since if you would join a new server, all the gifts that you collected in the previous server wouldn't be counted as collected, and you need to get them again. This might have to do with the fact that the game is set to 2009, but I already got the badge, so let's move on to the next game. Game 2 was Pirates of Robloxia. The mission was to get at least one gift onto your ship in the Plunder game mode. While the mission wasn't that difficult, this is probably the game that I had the most fun playing out of the bunch, so I have to give it some props for that. It took me about 20 minutes on doing the whole mission and I got the badge after talking to Santa. Game 3 was Twisted Murder. To get the badge in this one, you'll have to win on your team in the Holiday Strike game mode. This one was really easy because I got that game mode on the second round that I played in the game, and my team basically killed everybody else for me since I was AFK in the beginning of the round, and by the time I got back onto my laptop I barely saw any enemies left. It also took me like 6 minutes to get the badge, and I think the mission is just okay. Game 4 was Retro Pilot. The mission was to help out a bunch of people around the islands. I didn't really like this one. The whole gameplay of just walking from one person to another seemed plain to me. And considering this game is about piloting, I was a little confused on why there weren't any missions that had something with flying. You can argue that the flying element in the game can be used for flying from one island to another, but it still doesn't feel like it's enough for the usage of it. But hey, at least this game has scoring in the house, so I give it a 10 out of 10, baby! Game 5 was Survive the Wacky Disasters. To get the badge, you need to collect 10 toys that are randomly spawned in the map. This is another game that I didn't really care for. The mission was fine and the gameplay was definitely something. And finally, the last game was Blocks Hunt. The mission was to insert at least 2 gifts into the soy in the Winter Lodges map. This one was my least favorite in terms of gameplay. You had to be on the Hiders team in order to do the task. So while walking with the presents toward the soy, you could be zapped by Seekers in the middle of the process and the whole round would be over for you. After 40 minutes of playing the game, I did eventually get the badge because of the Seekers deciding not to kill everyone. Finally, some good people. After getting all these badges, I got the gift. A lot of items came out of the gift, so I'm just gonna put them on screen. I hope that's enough of info for y'all to know. Day 8 had Antagonizing Gift of Winter Grouch. The objective was to make 10 presents only with coal. Another easy objective, nothing much to say. The item that came out of the gift was Charcoal Black Bandit Top Hat. I feel like it doesn't have the same energy that the other bandit top hats have, but still an appropriate item for the gift. Day 9 had Fortress Gift of Victorious Warfare. The objective was to get the Proven Gladiator badge in Santa's Workshop game. The first thing you'll have to do is to come over to the Snowball Arena and wait for the incoming siege. After the time hits, you'll be teleported to the arena and will need to defend yourself from the snowmen that appear in waves. There are a total of 5 waves, with the last one being a fight between the snowman boss that ends with him dropping the gifts and getting the badge after touching one. This is definitely the gift that I enjoyed the most getting throughout the event. I wish there were more gifts that had the same amount of quality put into them as this one, since it will make the event better. On top of that, it unboxed into Golden Calendar. Really cool item. Day 10 had nothing. Again. Let's just move on to the next day. Day 11 had 2 gifts. I will talk about them the same way I did on day 5, so let's begin with unfortunate gift of Stronghold Nightmares. The objective for it was to get the Stronghold Nightmares badge and Giftsplosion Hangout 2023. To get the badge, you'll need to click 4 different items scattered across the map: the mirror, ladder, red 13 text, and the black cat. Not really a challenging task, but also not fully a bad one, so it's pretty passable. As for the item that the gift unboxed into, however, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I don't really see myself wearing it in the future. Next gift was the Deluxe Gift of Holiday Creations. The objective was to export each one of the new Christmas models in the Studio Toolbox once. When doing this gift, I thought it was a tiny bit confusing, so I had to look up on how to get it. Again, the models you needed to export were Santa, Christmas tree, Stronghold gift, Cole, and Snowman. This time the items that came out of the gift were Festive Clockwork headphones and Festive Clockwork shades. While you can see them as another retexture of old Roblox items, I think they have a likable design. Now it's time for the grand finale, Day 12. On this day, we got Elegant Gift of Christmas Cheer. In order to get it, you need to have every badge in the Santa's Workshop game. I'm not gonna talk about every single badge in this game, but I do want to go over the Deck the Halls badge. This badge is connected to delivering presents in the sleigh. In order to do that, you need to get coal and power the sleigh with it. Once you get enough fuel, you'll need to get inside one of the 4 seats that the sleigh has until the time runs out. After it finished counting, you'll be teleported until a neighborhood. You need to shoot out presents out of the cannons that are attached onto the sleigh into chimneys of the houses. This is when the badge comes in. You'll need to get 12 presents into chimneys in 1 round. I barely got the badge at the end of the whole rotation since something happened that made it so that it would start the countdown automatically after 30%, and with limited time I only could get to 45% max. I still don't know if behind it was the guy that was in my server activating it after I reached 30% or some random glitch that made it work like that, since the sleigh was breaking in servers prior to me getting the badge. So what's the item that came out of this gift? Well, it was Merry Ice Crown. It's another retexture of an old Roblox item and I think it's decent. So yeah, that was Giftsplosion 2024. It had its ups and downs, but I still was excited to visit it every day to find out what gifts came out and how to get them. I'm looking forward to the next events that the event team will deliver in the future, and I hope they will turn out even better than this one. Overall, I give this event a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm still gonna be honest. But until then, I'm BagelLiker. Thanks for watching the video. Support me by liking and commenting on it or subscribing to my channel. Have a great rest of your day. Bye!